mother plays an important role in reproduction. And the mother will pregnant and born a baby, and some of the mother will take care of their children. But interesting, in seahorse, they are the father do this kind of hard work. They have a blue pouch. It can protect and provide nutrients for the juveniles, and then they will burn them out from here. And when they are mating, the male will provide the sperm, and the female will provide the outside. And the outside is the embryo size depending probably upon the bite. It means that the outside is bigger and the embryos will be bigger too. So we want to know is female or male, which or what decided the reproduction. And in this research, we choose the Hippocampus gluteus. It is a long-snouted seahorse. And they were collected by scuba diving in the Rio Formosa lagoon. So this is the seahorse we choose, and here is the lagoon. And then, how can we get the purpose that we want to know? And we set up 3 experiments. First is the mate selection, and the second is the reproductive potential, and the third is paternal contribution. At the mate selection part, we set up 3 boxes to raise the seahorse. And each of the boxes will have 4 seahorses for different size and different sex ratio. So we can see that in the first box, it will have a small female, and a large and a small male. And the second will have a large, a medium, and a small female with a medium male. And the third will have a medium female and a large, a medium, a small male. And this is the sex ratio of them. So the seahorse behaviors will be recorded so that we can know how are they going to be behavior. And next is the reproductive potential. The reproductive potential of females are decided by outside size. So we will measure the outside volume and the yolk volume. And because the outside is bigger, and the embryos will be bigger. And then the reproductive potential of males will be dependent by the size and the number of the juveniles. The juveniles means the baby seahorse. So we will measure the baby seahorse then and go to have a comparison. And in the last, the paternal contribution means the father. The paternal means the father. So the paternal contribution is the influence from the fathers. And the water depth will influence the reproduction because each of pairs of seahorse will be made 2 times, and once is in a deeper water depth, and the second is the shallow water depth. So when the seahorse are made, they will rise in the water. So the outside from the male to the outside from the females to the male pouch will be a core when they are rise up. So it means that when they are reached to the water surface, it will be interpoled. So the shallow water depth will have less time to transfer the outside. And the juveniles will be weighed and measured too. So let's see the result of these 3 experiments. When the seahorse wanted to mate with another seahorse, they would prefer to choose the similar or large size mate. And the males always choose the larger females so that it can get a bigger outside. And the female will select the large or similar size because so that they can have enough space of the brood pouch. And this selected is because they want to optimize their juveniles and avoid it to wasting eggs. So, in reproductive potential, this picture shows the female's reproductive. And the x-axis is the female size, and the y-axis is basically the egg volume, the yolk volume, and the yolk proportion. And we can see that the larger female will have a bigger egg. And because the difference between the yolk and the outside size, so the yolk proportion will be a little smaller than a smaller female. And it is easy to accept that the large male will have a bigger brood pouch, and so does the data tell us. In this picture, the x-axis is the male length, and the y-axis is the pouch volume. So we can obviously see that they have a positive relationship. So it means that the large male has a bigger brood pouch. But the brood pouch size does not have a relationship with the brood size. The brood size means the number of the juveniles. So this is a bigger brood size, this is a smaller brood size. And then in this picture, we can see that the x-axis is the brood size, and the black spot means the male length, and the gray spot represents the pouch volume. So we can see that there are no relationship. But the embryo density does. It has a negative relationship between the male length and the pouch volume. So we can see the lower density are in the bigger pouch volume. So it means that the embryo density will be lower in the bigger pouch. So if the density are lower, it means that it have enough space to give the outside to grow up. So we think that this is an important point, that the bigger females can pouch the bigger juveniles. And as the animate I showed before, if the water depth is deep enough, it will have enough time to transfer the outside. So here is the outside number, and this is the high water depth, and here is the lower water depth. So we can see that the higher water depth have more outside number, and the lower have less. So in the high water depth, the embryo density will be higher, and the lower water depth, the embryo density will be lower. So, and as I told before, this one will produce the smaller juveniles, and this one will pouch out the bigger juveniles. So let's make a conclusion of this experiment. We can see that the larger broods will have a bigger brood size and a higher embryo density. So it will give the outside more space to grow up. So the less space to grow up. So it will have a smaller juveniles, and the smaller brood size will have less juveniles and a lower embryo density. So the length and the weight will be bigger than the larger brood size juveniles. So in this research, we can know that the seahorse will choose a similar mate size, and if the parents are bigger, the outside size will be bigger, and the brood pouch size will be bigger too. And the embryo density will be lower, so they will produce the size of baby will be bigger. So go back to the title, we can know that size doesn't matter, but the seahorse cannot produce the more juveniles and the big juveniles in the same time. They can only choose one of them. And this is my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so 10 minutes, 50 seconds. QA. Vincent. Paul. Jerry. CK. Sammy. Fiona. Okay. Vincent.
So your conclusion mentioned that if mother and father size is bigger, then it will be bigger, right? But in experiment, you is that bigger or not by that? You know if it's white or white.
Repeat this question.
And he said, it means the juvenile size are not decided by only the men, right?
Okay.
Actually, it will be weight by, it will be weight too. And this part have told the weight is heavier too.
Okay. Paul.
It's about the main seahorse who like the female size is large, but the female like the size of the male is large or the small size.
Similar size.
So
Come back to you later. CK.
Can you tell me why you choose this paper and what special in your paper?
Repeat the question.
Why I choose the paper and what is the special in this paper? I choose this paper is because it is simple and interesting. And then what is the special in this paper? I think it is an important point that we know how the seahorse was made. It is because people are choose mate by their maybe you like the boy and then you want to mate to him, but seahorse are not. Seahorse they want to optimize their juveniles, so they will choose the better mate. That's different from human.
Sammy.
I wanted to know how long that they rise up, how much time they discuss.
Repeat the question.
How much time will the pair rise up in the water? I'm not sure, but maybe very slow, so they can transport outside.
So the theory you mentioned.
Yeah.
Leona.
I can. Can this study apply on our kind of seahorse? Can this study apply on our kind of seahorse?
I think does this study can reply on another seahorse? I think yes, because I think the mate selection and the reproductive potential will be the same. I think because the most of the animals will choose will try to optimize their juveniles. So I think yes.
Oh,
About the rise up, I want to know about the pressure will effect on the rise up.
Okay.
About the pressure of the water.
You mean that the water pressure will influence the result? When they rise up, the water pressure will be lower.
volunteer question. Any questions, comments? What's your name?
Feathers.
Sorry?
Feathers.
Okay, tell us, please.
In the conclusion, you say lower density will produce larger size.
Yes.
on the juvenile. But is their breed time is the same? The juvenile inside their
Fruit pouch.
yes, it's the same time.
Yes, you mean if does the larger juveniles in their fruit pouch time is the same? I think no, because the seahorse present time is 9 to 45 days. So I think if they have enough space to grow up, they will prefer to stay in the fruit pouch for a long time.
Okay, any more questions? Volunteer questions? No? Okay. Fine. Okay, so my comments for this talk will be, I think overall, I think you would agree with me that it's a very easy to follow talk. So she spoke very fluently and slowly, and you can see that her presentation is very rich in images, so that and not too much text, so that's easy to follow. Okay, and then very often her fonts, the fonts are large enough to read. Okay, although there are exceptions like this one. Like this one is this one. When I watch from the back. Okay. And also she always use guidelines to point out that where she's talking about, the feature of the figure. And there's always also some good flow of logic like this one, where she said that the beginning is related to water density, and then it's related to the size of the juveniles, and so on. Okay. Although I have the feeling that in this figure, probably it would be better that you introduce the size, the weight of the male first, before you talk about this. Yeah, I think the weight of the male would be the key point of this research. Okay, so now we'll talk a little bit about the weakness. Okay, so because this paper, although there are not so many terminologies compared to other one, but still there are some. For example, like at the beginning, you talk about this, then you introduce the term fruit pouch, right? It would be really great to just print out the term here. You have space, okay? And what is missing from this talk is these are still introduction, then it goes to method. And this is not clear enough. What is your research purpose? Like a male or female, this can infer a lot of different kinds of questions, male or female. So it would be really good to say size, something about size, okay? And then from time to time you introduce some terms, but when I think from the considering the words that I need to check last evening, I think some terms also need to be explained a little bit, like what is snouted. Probably it's not that important, but at some point you have this. Okay, this is explained. Inside. Although I would say at some point you can also say in easier word like egg. That would be easier enough. Okay. Here you start to introduce your results. I would suggest that you always print the key concluding sentence, like a one-line sentence, so that the conclusion is directly linked to your data. Okay. Like this one and this one. This one probably is a good concluding sentence, like this. But here, this is not big enough. Okay, so it will be always good to have concluding sentence. And lastly, I would say you spoke very fluently and slowly and calmly, and you did not read your script, which means you have memorized everything in your head. Therefore, to improve your stage performance, it will be really great if next time you can look at the audience like this. Okay, not like this. Okay, good. So thanks, Angelica, for this good talk.